You gonna doodle?
No.
You gonna make a Batman?
I don't remember the last time I've seen an actual pencil like with an eraser like that.
Hello, welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman. On today's episode, we're going to be going over a couple of brief news items. Then we're going to actually talk about some of the early predictions we made for the End of All Things back when it was first announced last year. Then we want to go over the 11 parts of the End of All Things, kind of do as quick of a recap as we can. And then we kind of did our own little endings that we want to talk about, all rounding out with our own final predictions. And we're going to do this kind of final prediction game where we see who gets the most predictions right. Joining me, of course, as always, is TJ.
Oh, hello.
And Bill.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
My toes are nice and toasty.
Well, it's because I gave you slippers.
You did give me slippers.
Bill, how are your toes?
They're all right. I could go for a pair of slippers,
Oh,
but I don't want to get like second rate because you probably gave TJ your best ones, and then if any ones that you give
of
me,
course,
would
I'm
be
wearing my best
Oh
ones.
yeah, then I absolutely don't want third best slippers.
No way. Did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine
lovely.
mine was good because I have two kids.
Yeah.
So I
So
get to live,
it's a completely
like,
different thing for you.
Yeah. Wait, how about what? So what did you get, TJ? What did you get?
I got a Disney princess coloring book from my niece.
No way.
Did you really?
She picked it out for me at her daycare. They have like this store.
The Snowflake Shop.
Do you guys remember that, like in
Yeah.
elementary school? But it
Yeah.
used to be like a scholastic thing. Like you would actually go and like your parents would give you money, and you'd go and get to pick out like a book or something.
Yeah.
That used to be.
Well,
the
that
best.
was the book fair.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of like
Or the
book
Snowflake
fair.
Shop was where you could go and like get like toys or like.
I don't think I
it
ever
wasn't
had
called
that.
Snowflake Shop, but I definitely had that.
Ours was a Snowflake Shop. There was Santa's Workshop, maybe something like that. I don't know.
What's something you got for Christmas, Bill?
I got Shadow of War.
Mm-hmm.
The
You enjoying
Lord of
it
the
so
Rings.
far?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I get lost in it.
How far along in it are you?
I'm not far in the story, but I'm like 12 hours
Are you
in.
doing the thing where you clear out everything before
No.
really moving the story
No.
along?
No.
No.
Because in that one, it's like you can take over fortresses and like, take over all the captains.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to make every single captain mine. But it's hard because you have to lower the level of some because some of them are too high a level to be dominated, as they say. It sounds dirty, doesn't it?
Kind of
Like-
to dominate them.
Yeah.
I got a telescope. You guys saw it when you walked in. I'm excited to use that. It's still really cold out, so I haven't really gone outside and taken it out there, but I'm excited to
Can
see
you
it.
not use it in the cold? Or
Oh, no, you definitely can. I just got to go someplace that's a little bit more visible, and it's also been really cloudy lately.
Wow.
I
Does it
wanna-
have
I
a
wanna go see- I wanna
tripod?
go
Does it
see
have a
some-
stand?
No, I can get a tripod.
Oh,
for it,
okay.
though. I want to see some planets. But moving along, this is the Invincible Podcast, like I said. This is our last episode that we're going to be doing before reading the final issue of Invincible.
Golly, Bob Howdy. What movie?
But-
what movie?
I know what it is. It's going to take too much time
What
to
is
guess.
it? What is
What?
it? What is it?
Oh, it's Toy Story.
Yeah, it's fucking
Okay,
Toy
got it.
Story.
Got
it.
Slinky.
Oh
Slink.
man, I didn't remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought you.
If you
Right,
would have asked
Disney-
me,
I wasn't even going to ask what movie.
Yeah.
Until I saw the looks on your
I
faces.
just don't think of Slinky. Like Slink, I don't know. I wouldn't have known he had like a catchphrase or.
He
Yeah, it
doesn't.
wasn't like
he
a
said it like
catchphrase,
he said it
but
like one
he
time.
did say it one time, but like Slink is like the best character in Toy Story.
No,
Really?
he's not.
What? Who is? Don't say Buzz Lightyear.
The fucking aliens are more popular than
Oh, I
Slink.
hate the aliens. They're so annoying.
What is cool about Slink?
He's like the audience.
give
He's
me
like
a
the one
funny-
you relate to.
Give me the fucking Slinky dog.
Yeah.
You relate more to the.
I think I need to see Toy Story. Again.
When Slink is like saving the day and like fucking they're trying to catch up to the moving van.
he
and
rules. He's like, I can't hold on any longer. and
yeah,
then he-
he's so cute though. I
Oh
just
my
want to cuddle his face.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, like I said, this is our last episode before reading the final issue, but we're going to still be doing podcast episodes after the final issue. We're going to talk more about this, next episode and so on. We still plan on talking about Invincible as long as there's stuff to talk about. So we have a little bit of a layout for at least the next several months, and we'll see how things go. But we are planning on sticking with the bi-weekly schedule, and nothing really should change. Other than that, some news that came out this week, most of which today. Ottley mentioned he is working on his new project.
What?
Yeah, he didn't say what it was, though.
He says it's weird that to be working on a different project when you've been working on one for so long.
Come on, Ryan Ottley. Just tell us. Just give me a call right now.
I'm so excited.
He's texting me right now.
Oh, is he? What is he working on?
Bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bloop. I have nothing.
Yeah, nothing?
Yeah,
Come on, you couldn't come up with anything?
I couldn't think of anything funny at all.
Other than that, it's the 15-year anniversary this month for Invincible. Issue 1 came out in, oh god, I gotta do math now. This is at 2003.
January 22nd.
January 22nd, 2003. I thought it was the 21st. It's 22nd?
22nd, and
How do you know these fucking dates? That always bothers me.
And the final issue comes out on the 24th.
Yeah. They almost got it down to the day.
That makes me think that that's why, because I think on the last episode we talked about like why 144, why not make it an even 145. Well, it's because it's
the right number to fill out a compendium and an omnibus.
12, it's a, yeah.
Yeah. It's 2 trades.
But I think that's why too.
I think that's another reason. But then you'd have to factor in all the times that they were late issues this past year. So
not this past year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Well, last year, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So it's exciting. 15 years. Over on Twitter, we've been putting out just random things from throughout the series. We'd like to keep doing that all month with hashtag Invincible15.
Wow. You know what? Because we started reading it when it was issue like 50?
40s.
40 something, 50?
Mid-40s.
I'm 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What grade was I in when I was 15?
I don't know. I mean, we're what, 18 in high school? Or
no, you're 17 your senior year.
17, yeah, senior year.
So, sophomore, 10th grade?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't even touch a comic book when I was in high school, but that's weird that Invincible has existed since I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. And so, that's exciting. I think it's awesome that it's ending in its 15-year anniversary. We've also got... what was it? Walking Dead. It's its 15-year anniversary as well, right?
Yep.
I think this
October
is the 15-year anniversary. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking a lot about what we want to see in the final issue, because this is our last chance to do it. Before we get into that, I actually listened to our episode in which we, react to the news that Invincible was ending. It was our 12th ever episode, and we called it The Beginning of the End. And I asked both of you guys, what was one thing you wanted to see happen before the end of the series? Do you guys remember what you said? I wrote it down, so you don't...
Mine was probably Battle Beast. Was it Battle Beast?
It actually wasn't.
It wasn't?
No.
What was it?
I know what mine was.
Yeah?
It was callbacks.
Yours was, do you remember what you called it? So TJ, you went first, and you said, well, first you said it won't be a big deal, and you don't expect it, but you said it would be cool if they touched on the clone, the guy that cloned the guy, shook his hand.
Yeah, I've talked about that.
Yeah, you even said it.
I'm not upset about that.
Yeah.
That they didn't explain it.
But you called it the dollhouse theory, that when a show is announced that it's ending, it goes all out, and it does.
I said that the end of all things, not just the last, the end of all things was going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was that exactly. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I loved it, but I thought it was going to be like just nonstop, craziness.
Yeah. Bill, your only thing, and you were pretty flat out about it, was you wanted resolution to the King Immortal story.
Oh yeah.
The future issue.
Well, and we've already gotten that.
Yeah, we got
more or less. Yeah.
More or less.
We did. Well, they could do more with it though.
How? They could spend 1,000 years telling stories because that's how long. Right?
Well, yeah, it's been a long time. We don't know. Yeah. I don't think how far into the future.
That's resolution. I
think we got more of that. Mine was, I said I wanted, because at the time, Mark and Eve were engaged. I said I want them to have a wedding, which we saw on a page.
Yeah.
We got to see it, but it happened. And I also said that I wanted callbacks to Volume 1 stuff,
Looking up.
I'd still have you, Dad, telling the story, of where you come from. Like, I wanted those kind of callbacks.
You did get one. Him talking to his mom about, I remember you being mad at me for reading comics on the toilet.
Yeah, that's kind of one, yeah.
So you got both of your things. I got my one thing.
I still want a little bit more from their early callbacks.
There will absolutely be.
You think so?
I'm sure.
We'll talk more about that. TJ, you don't feel like you got... Oh, you also said... you said, yeah, I know it's kind of selfish, but I really want to see Rex or Engstrom. It's ridiculous because he's dead, but you wanted to see them somehow, some way,
Right.
In some sort of callback to it. But otherwise, I don't think we were too far off.
Yeah.
Before we get into, because we wanted to kind of talk more about, our predictions again for the final issue, I wanted to do a little bit of a recap of, the end of all things. And just kind of like a, refresher on where we left off and the things that have happened. Because I went through and reread all 11 issues. And I will say, I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more
As a
reading
whole.
it as a arc.
Always do. Always 100% do.
Yeah.
Comics are better in their trade paperback form.
It felt a lot... I don't know, it felt like the story flowed a lot better. I just enjoyed it a whole lot more. So, starting off, issue 133, we had Oliver's funeral.
And the wedding.
And the wedding, both in that issue. This was also the issue where Eve snapped at Mark for being, headstrong, not thinking at all, just jumping into things. We got a reference to Alan's weak spot. Do you remember that when
His eye.
When his eye was bleeding and Tara asked him about it? We really thought that was going to come up with, somehow later on.
It still could.
It still could, right?
It still absolutely could.
I thought that was interesting. Now, reading it as one whole thing, like I said, these things didn't feel so random. Because, like that, I remember reading this and being like, oh, something's going to happen. Alan's going to die. That we got a proven weak spot. Thrag's going to kill him. That's how he's going to do it. And last we saw, Mark and Alan parted ways, and that was it. So, I mean, it seemed a little odd if nothing comes of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The other thing that happened in this issue was the wedding rings. Now, Bill, you mentioned them getting married in this issue.
Oh, fuck, they don't have them anymore.
Right? That was another thing. Like, Alan getting punched in the eye and bleeding. Like, is that foreshadowing too? The fact that Eve says, give me the rings, we'll come back when, I don't want them to get damaged.
Well, why wouldn't she
It'll give us something to come back for.
Why wouldn't they have fixed or, talked about that already? Because technically there is no more threat.
Yeah, you'd
right?
think...
There's no more war. There's nothing really. There's not
Well, there was Robot, and then immediately following Robot, there's Mark's son. Are the rings back at their house on Telescria? You know what I mean?
Do you think they still have a house on Telescria?
I would think so. Why not? They just
Wasn't it made by Eve?
No, that was the one on that other planet.
Oh, that's right. It was
got destroyed. Yeah. No, they're on Telescria here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Do you think we see them in the last issue?
I think we would probably have to, but then that would also, whatever this was foreshadowing hasn't happened yet.
So something
Eve
because
could still die.
We assumed something bad was going to happen.
Oh, I just figured it out.
What do you think?
It's going to be in a time jump, probably.
And he's going to be looking at the rings.
Hundreds of years later, and he's going to be looking at the rings when Eve died of old age or something like that.
Yeah, but don't you think we got to...
He just got a smug little smirk on his face.
Don't you think we got to see them get them, though? Maybe they'll just be wearing them in a scene?
Yeah, and I think that it would be a cool callback to...
I wonder if it was done intentionally for us to be worried about Eve.
Yeah, there's always misdirection. Always.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kirkman's favorite thing to do.
And this issue ended with Alan saying that,
admitting
that
fault.
He
is kind of behind something.
Yeah. Well, at this time we knew he was behind Oliver, or telling them Thrag where their location was.
And we got a little side butt.
Speaking of Talia, She mentioned in this issue that, or both of them, whatever, during the conversation, Alan talked about how he lost his friend. You know, like that even. And now my friend is dead. Oh, that's the last thing he said. But one of them mentions the fact that he lost, like him and Mark are no longer friends. And rereading all these 11 issues, they're not. There isn't a moment this entire time, like until the end,
the conclusion.
Because, like thinking about it, like when were they ever buddy to each other the entire time? Like,
it was really all business.
Yeah.
Every time they talked, there was only planning.
And there was only like 1 or 2 scenes where they actually talk, and it's business. So, like, it feels very natural in 143 for Mark to be like, you know, I haven't forgotten. Like, this is where
we're obviously not friends.
Yeah, this is where we stand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was 133. 134 was Ursel getting consoled by Thrag in Anand's like den or whatever.
Oh my gosh, feels like that was forever ago.
Right? I almost felt like that was Cory Walker's arc.
Yeah, because it was that long ago.
And then I remember not knowing whether or not Thrag was intentionally wanting to kill her, or if he just didn't like the fact that she was holding him.
Oh, I think it's obvious that he wanted to kill her.
Yeah,
because he could see her
weakness.
Yeah,
you know, and he even says later on in the series that they're useless to him.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought so hard that was like him showing weakness, that he was showing love for her.
Oh, like he was fighting it. He didn't
Yeah.
And he kept her alive because he loved her.
Mm-hmm.
The look on his face.
Yeah.
I thought for sure.
So,
but no, he was an asshole.
And remember, like, we got immediate resolution because we were like, oh, is Alan going to hang on to that, like, knowledge and stuff? And this was the issue, the very next one, where he admitted to Mark
what he did. Yeah.
And it was Eve who freaked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that we didn't have to sit on that resolution for a while. So, and I remember thinking, like, oh, you know, Mark's just kind of saying, hey, it's okay. But he's not okay with it, you know. Again, we find out that
there are bigger things happening.
So Mark gets Nolan, you know, to be on their side, you know, to go after Thrag. And this was also the issue where we got to see them back in costume, Mark and Eve, and that's when Tara makes fun of them.
Oh my God, one of the best parts.
Mm-hmm.
So you wear naked clothes, or something like that. What was it? What did she say?
What was it? Right here.
Why would you ever wear such silly clothes?
So on Earth,
crazy.
you people with superpowers wear naked clothes that make them look naked even if they're not naked. Why?
Yeah. Yep. And this issue had their last day together where they do all the activities.
Oh, that was fun.
Again, though, it makes me feel like something bad's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This was in the very beginning of the arc, and everything was foreboding. Like, you're like, everyone's gonna die, and then the more we got into it, we're like, maybe everyone doesn't have to die.
Yeah, like,
you know?
As it went.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one ended with Alan saying, you know, this is what we're gonna do. Thrag has...
They have a plan.
Yeah, Thrag has... people on bases, you know, they take a planet and they leave a couple of Viltrumites there, and we're going to go back and retake them. And Mark was like, actually, I have a plan or another idea.
And then we didn't know what that plan was for 8 issues.
Again, though, I felt the same way. Rereading it, it really doesn't feel that bad. I still feel like it might have been a little long, but the issue that like his plan is within 2 issues. And then 135 starts with like Thrag arriving. This is their new home base, you know, and that was one thing that felt a little odd, that this issue starts off and it's like Thrag's like, hey, I always wanted a home base, because conveniently next issue or this issue they're going to be looking for a home base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That felt a little weird rereading it, because like the entire time for 5 years Thrag doesn't have a home base.
Well,
and now
wouldn't it have been that planet that he, with all the fucking insects, the threat,
you'd think, but I guess not.
Yeah.
He just took some of those aliens.
Weird.
Yeah. But anyways, then it's stage 1 of Mark's plan, which is them liberating this planet, and we get to see
and following one of the people.
They send
Viltrumites.
They send Space Racer to go follow one of them, and they actually at one point they actually take a Viltrumite hostage, and says that they'll take him to the ship and question him, see what he knows, and the Viltrumite's like, oh, I'll tell you nothing, and we never saw that again, which is fine. It's just I thought we would have seen that guy again.
Then?
They're following
Just
a different
someone
guy.
that they kind of let him go, and then Space Racer
You know
was
what?
following
I
him.
remember this being a conversation where, where was
It was
this?
confusing
It seemed-
because we didn't see that guy.
Yeah.
We never saw
We
the
never
guy.
saw him in the actual fight.
Yeah, we never saw the guy that Space Racer was following previously.
racing through space after.
Then
we got the Battle Beast planet.
Thrag gets to the Battle Beast planet, and they kind of bitch out a little bit.
King Mach kills. What was his name? The
The ambassador.
yeah,
This is where we find out Battle Beast's name.
Thok.
Thok and Mach.
I'm excited to see what comes of this.
I have predictions.
Yeah,
My story
involves that.
very much
Cool.
revolves
All
around their planet.
And then everything else in 135, we've got Ursel kind of getting angry, showing frustration, and punching that wall, and right at the same time as Mark and the Resistance show up to attack Thrag's home planet.
Which happened in the beginning of this issue. Okay, now I see how
See what
that
I mean?
does seem a little weird, yeah.
They're already established on this planet. I mean, maybe time had passed. Again, it's one of those things. Remember, it felt like time was hard to follow a little bit.
Yes.
They could have all just came and met him at the planet, though.
Yeah. All the Viltrumites.
Yeah.
Or they're most likely on ships, though, you have to assume.
All right. So now, in my opinion,
136.
we get the most memorable issue. Looking back, for some reason, now that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this issue, this is the most memorable one.
This is like the action issue.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
There were a couple more action issues,
Yeah.
but I feel like this one was, I don't know.
fucking
I think
crazy.
this was one of Ottley's best.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the destruction.
But this was the issue where, Bill, I remember you raving
Yeah.
about this panel where the verticality of it with Mark, this like the
it makes
second
you
page.
feel so high up and
Yeah,
fucking.
Mark and Nolan really up close, and then down there you see Thrag and everybody else fighting. Yeah.
And then the page after that was my favorite of Thrag, just like releasing all of his kin
Oh,
on.
Oh yeah, and this.
kids
I mean,
on-
this. We didn't know what to expect. Remember, like we saw this and we're like, oh no,
oh yeah.
they're dead. How could they ever? How could they ever
Yeah,
win?
because remember
and then,
we thought that they wouldn't stand a chance. How are they going to fight millions of them? We had no
Yeah.
idea that they would be like balloons and just explode,
Yeah.
which was one of the best parts. Before that, though, we got Terra flying and
Testing out her powers.
yeah.
Because we obviously knew she could fly in the end of the Cory Walker.
Yep, freaking out Haluma. And that is the last time we see Haluma and the twins. Do either of you think we will see Haluma and the twins again before the end?
I really don't need to.
I don't care to, but I think we will.
You think we will?
Yeah.
I don't know if we will or not.
I don't think we will.
Yeah. But yeah, this fight, this bloody fight, because we didn't really get too many bloody fights, did we? I mean, we obviously got some blood later on, and especially with Nolan, but
And the whole
this-
time they're toying with you, making you think Eve might die.
yes.
Yep. No one comes and saves Eve.
Yep. The blood splatter
Oh
everywhere.
my god, this was such a good issue. God,
But the whole
go
point
back
of
and
this,
read it.
The whole
Alan
point of this
ripping people
issue,
apart.
the whole point of this issue was for them to just basically do a hit and run.
Yeah.
That was the plan, was do a hit and run, and they all
Thrag to follow.
get back to the ship. And Nolan's like, well, where are we going? Where is this stronghold? And it turns out they're just going to Earth. So 137 was one of the issues I really liked because
It shows Earth.
Now it's
showed
consistent. Now it's consistent. Now it's into the good stuff. And then I think maybe
And it's showing the Viltrumites on Earth and what they're going through, and they have,
yeah.
wives and husbands. They have children.
human connections and emotions.
I liked Craig and all his wives, Lycan, and this I remember we talked about this. Lycan's son does have powers. It's mentioned in this panel right here, because we were talking about how Marky had powers and like how it's like an issue and everything like that. I mean, there's obviously more kids with powers You know, it's not like Marky was the first one, but
Doesn't he get
he had a
punched
father.
through a wall by...
Who?
Who was that? Tara punched somebody through a wall.
That was Britt Jr.
That's what it was.
But anyway,
Which
but
was awesome.
yeah, Lucan.
Lucan.
Yeah, Lucan. His son. But this is the thing. He is a Viltrumite, and he's teaching his son how to use his powers and not to use them. And this shows his son being like, okay, I'll just let him punch me until he breaks his fist next time.
Do all Viltrumite fathers have mustaches?
Yes.
I think so.
All Viltrumite men have mustaches.
Yeah, I think so.
That's like a well-known fact. Other than Mark. Mark is gonna. Do you think Mark's gonna have a mustache? Is that a prediction?
Maybe we should add that to our predictions list. Yeah.
That's a good one. Sorry about my cough. I'm getting over a
Get it together.
bronchiolitis.
Is it bronchitis?
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I could be turning into a brontosaurus. I don't know.
Is that what that means?
Yes.
But yeah, and then this was the issue
that's where we get Anissa.
Anissa and her whole redemption type thing.
It's like,
Not yet.
just so you know,
Not yet.
I'm going to redeem myself type of thing.
Kinda. I remember
He's warming us up to the idea of forgiving her.
Yeah, remember reading this issue and us being like, is it okay?
No.
Is it okay that we
No.
like this?
I was. And you were too.
We are-
TJ was all about not liking her.
I'm still, like, even,
It was such a good character scene for her.
yeah, it absolutely was.
But yeah, her with Scott, Marky with Molly. But then we've got Nolan asking all the Viltrumites for help, them agreeing. Then Nolan and Mark talk about Anissa. And that resolution finally comes in a really great scene. Tara has her moment where she flies with Debbie. And let's see, there was Ursula visiting with all the patients, all the wounded.
Kids
Yeah.
that had fought in the war and
Do you like
got messed up.
Do you like Ursula's arc? Kind of seeing it all in
Yeah,
all like this.
I like Ursula a lot.
Yeah.
In a fast-paced thing, yeah, always.
I would have liked to have seen more of Anand,
Yeah.
but
We
I
saw a
think
lot of Anand. We did though. If you go back and read Corey Walker's, I bet you see more.
No, we did get a lot of Anand, but obviously a whole lot more of Ursula.
his death made her better.
Yeah.
Made her a better character.
Yeah, if he were still alive, it wouldn't even.
Now, towards the end of this issue, Mark tells Eve that she has to stay behind because, she can't fight in space. He doesn't want her getting hurt. Somebody's got to stay back for Tara. And he has this moment where he looks back at Eve and she has her hand on the glass and it's a very foreboding image. And then that's when Mark finds out that, Alan is leading them to the sun because behind the sun are hiding all the Viltrumites. And then Thrag comes out with the Ragnars. And this was a big issue, and then it ends with Robot holding all the kids hostage.
Yeah.
And you owe me a pizza.
Why? Because mine. What? I bet that he was going to use them.
You bet me that they were going to kill the kid.
Yeah.
That he was going to kill the kids like the next issue.
Oh.
So, issue 138 starts with Mark looking back at Eve again in the window. I feel like that was really like, hey, this is the last time they're looking at each other.
It's not even subtle.
That's what I mean.
Like, it's very blatant. He's looking over his shoulder. She's in the window looking off.
Yeah. Like, the fact that we got it twice. One at the end of the previous issue and the beginning of this one. I mean, I guess it's just a moment before Nolan dies. But it was effective in, making us think something was going to happen. Again, it's a lot of that.
You know what? It was misdirection because I wasn't at all thinking Nolan was going to die. Well, maybe I was, actually.
Yeah. So this was 138. The Ragnars were a big thing in this issue. I loved Thrag throwing them around on ropes.
Him flipping them around and that it was sick. What a good fight.
This was when we find out that Robot was just holding the kids, and he leaves to go up to space, putting Xandal in charge. What else? Oh yeah, this splash page was awesome. One of the best splash pages. This whole. Oh, you know what we should do? We should compile all the splash pages because some of them are just incredible. This is one of them. I love this one.
We're talking about
this one reminds me
a massive fight, and Nolan's up there fighting Thrag.
This reminds me a lot of the one in
Alan and Invincible are in the
Robot War, where it shows all of them fighting.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the page.
And then we get the splash page.
The callback one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the one in, I believe, issue 27.
Is it 27? I thought it was after that. Who was he fighting?
It's 27.
I forgot what number it was. I thought it was like, I don't remember.
I thought it was later than that.
But yeah, everybody knows what we're talking about.
Oh my god. And then the are they going to, aren't they going to, is he going to die, isn't he going to die, kept happening with Nolan.
Thrag kept holding his head, like about to kill him. Yep. Mark tries saving him. But no. Thrag cuts through Nolan, cuts him in half. And then,
so the one page was, excuse me, just him doing the Voltramite bunch through him. And then he says, impressive, like, oh, you moved just in time for me to miss your heart. And then Nolan says, it'll take more than that. And then Thrag just kind of, like, puts a little,
And we know from, reading the later issues that his heart was damaged. So he did miss his heart, but the cut in half, and maybe that's what that's supposed to be.
That little heart, that thing right there.
Is supposed to be his heart getting damaged.
Oh, my God. I read this on a plane.
How?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, and then ending with Mark screaming.
Remember, because I was in Florida when you guys read this one and did this issue review.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the only issue you missed? I think it was.
The only issue, yes. I missed other episodes, but this was the only issue one.
So what is this? 139. Eve goes out to get Nolan.
Yeah. He's just floating in space, and
I remember
Mark is in awe. Fighting.
So looking back, do you guys like the fact that Nolan survived this? We were convinced he was dead the moment he was cut in half.
I don't really like how mangled he was in this. I'm okay with him surviving because I liked his overall ending. I like that Mark got to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. But I just wish it wasn't so mangled because I was 100% sure that he was dead.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. So.
Because it looked like it was just, there's no way.
Yeah.
I didn't think that him saying, like, he got to say goodbye or dying twice was really necessary. I think that the shock and quick death would have been more anti-superhero trope-ish than what they did.
Really? Because I think I'm glad they did it though, because like we said, we had never gotten a slow death. We had never gotten I like that Mark got to say goodbye. But Eve goes out to save him.
And this is when Anissa comes to the rescue too, right?
Yep. Well, Mark starts freaking out.
Someone else comes to the rescue first.
Yeah. Robot shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And a big-ass rocket.
And a big-ass fucking, what is it, the Thrag Buster? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Jordan, I think, came up with that? Thrag Buster. But yeah, Robot shows up.
And it doesn't really do much that we see anyways.
Not yet. Well, no, not really at all.
Until, like, the next issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fight anybody.
Holy shit, this is the second issue. Wow, this is really actiony.
Oh, yeah. Like, this one had a ton of action,
This is like the action finale of Invincible.
Yeah.
Wow.
This whole fight.
Three issues in a row.
Yep. I love all these shots of Ursula. Like, her stopping, watching, looking at, like... Because Alan looks off and says, Nolan, my friend. Which I really wish I would have gotten to see him say goodbye. But I know it's not really necessary.
Why? Alan and Nolan have more of a relationship than Mark and
Well, we
Alan
talked about that. Well, I remember one of us said that. I think it was me. And then I think you called me out on it. Like, no, they don't. Like, Nolan and Mark have a huge relationship. It's father and son. Alan and Nolan just went on, a bunch of adventures together.
I'm saying Alan and Nolan have a better relationship than Alan and Mark.
Oh, okay.
Not Mark
I said Mark and Nolan. Okay.
Nolan, no.
But yeah, it would have been cool to see them, say something together, to each other before Nolan died. But like I was saying, all the shots of Ursula leading up to them surrendering at the end of this was awesome. But oh yeah, Thrag throwing. This was when Thrag was throwing all of the kids at Mark, saying like they're nothing to me. To me, the Voltramite Empire has been dead for a long time.
Yeah, this is just about revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just crumbling as they hit him.
Mm-hmm. And Anissa gets cut here, right? This was the issue
Before
where
this, yeah,
Anissa
sliced
gets
right down the
slashed.
middle. A much less...
saving Eve, like helping
Yep.
Eve get Nolan away. Eve takes Anissa, saying, and that's when Anissa tells her, what does she say? She says something like, tell Mark. What does she want?
No, tell him about Marky. He'll know, or...
He'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
He'll know when he sees him.
I regret what I did. He'll understand when he sees him.
I don't regret what I did.
I don't regret
He'll
what I did.
understand when he sees him.
Yeah.
And then, Ursula sees all the bloodshed and sees kind of takes in what Thrag had said, seeing all after the conversation that she had with the child Viltrumite.
And realize them to
she's
surrender.
starting to realize, what they're doing is wrong, and she surrenders.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the Viltrumite army follows her.
Yeah, and we got the moment where, this one's
They're back
still
on the ship,
this
and
one's
one's still alive. Yeah.
This one's still breathing.
To which everyone let out a...
it ends with Mark and Thrag fighting on the sun.
Mm-hmm. Which is one of the best single shots of the entire...
These 3 issues are fucking crazy. I don't remember this much action being... Yeah, that's...
I'm telling you, reading it all 11 back to back was awesome. Like,
So do you suggest everyone do it?
Before the end?
Yes.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
I think it sets it up. It sets the tone for it better, because we're going into this final issue with a lot of expectations because it's the final issue. I think if we read the first 11 parts and then go into the... I'm not saying read it directly before, but make sure you read it sometime within the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Get a feel for what this arc is. What, the two the rings. Are the rings going to come back? Is Alan's eye getting punched and bleeding going to come back? These are things that I feel like if they did, it feels like a more cohesive story.
I think it would be a good idea to write those things down, too. Because you'll forget about them as you go on. Like things that aren't answered. Alan's eye. The rings.
But again, it doesn't matter if Alan's eye doesn't get touched on. It could have just been a misdirection, a red herring. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's not necessary.
What
But it's just cool.
I've talked about, since we've started this podcast, I've talked about how Alan is the most powerful,
indestructible.
He can't be killed. I mean, they gave him a weakness to make us scared for his life.
Yeah, maybe that was all. Maybe it was just to make us worry about him, because it did. So
it's made us worried about everyone.
Yeah.
The rings, red herring, to make us worry about Eve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's what that was. But so it's not necessary, but at the same time, it's cool just to have all those things fresh in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, issue 140, the
fucking sun battle,
fucking yellow, orange, red fight. It's all silence, but before Mark's transmitter breaks, Thrag is just talking about how he's doing it all for revenge, and that's all he cares about. And then Mark, while getting his ass kicked, dives into the sun, drags him into the sun with him.
To kill him.
Yeah.
And himself.
Yep.
Like, he didn't care if he died.
Yep. And then we get one of the best written issues of all
the dialogue,
Invincible.
that everything that Mark is thinking in his head to Thrag.
Yep. Him saying, I just figured it out. I wish you can hear me, but I figured out why you're going to lose and why I'm going to win.
Right.
It's because you're fighting for revenge. That's it. You've got nothing.
I have something to fight for.
Yes. That was so well written. I loved this issue.
And even when Robot senses the suit and he's like, do you know what this means? My worst enemy
is helping me
right now.
And not even your kids are helping you.
Yeah.
It was such a good issue.
Reading it, do you wish, is this always gonna be one of those things where you look back and you just wish that Mark could say this to him?
Oh yeah. But it's almost like the way Ottley drew it, the way everything about it, it almost looks like Thrag knows. There's so much fear in Thrag's eyes when you're reading this.
Fucking
he's
awesome.
constantly like holy shit.
He knows he's gonna die.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's such a good issue.
Mark never once has a look of fear on his face in this issue. It's always of conviction and just certainty. He's like, I'm certain you're going to die, and I'm certain I'm going to die. And that's all that matters.
And a couple things that stood out to me was Mark saying that the Viltrumites are more than just more than what you think they are. He thinks that Mark knows that they're a force for good. He knows that, and he also says that they can spread peace throughout the galaxy. He says that the Viltrumites are capable of love and capable of being loved, and they're able to be happy. And that was a big thing that he said, and I think that's really important going forward and the way Mark views the Viltrumites and what kind of leader he'll be.
So, did this leave you with more of a feeling of hope?
Yes, because it ends with
as
him,
opposed to...
It ends with him saying, like, if only I had lived to see the potential of the Viltrumites.
Do you think that Invincible is more of a tragic comic or a hopeful comic? Because I have my opinion.
I think
there's a lot of tragedy in it, but I think it's more hopeful.
It's definitely hopeful.
You think that it's more hopeful?
Yeah, it's very
I understand
tragic.
where you're coming from if you say it's the opposite, because there is a lot of tragedy in it, but I think there's more hope than tragedy. I think with all of the tragedy, Kirkman always writes in hope coming out of that tragedy.
See, what I think is the opposite. I think that he writes hope and then crushes it with tragedy.
No, look at, unfortunately, the rape. What that led to, you know what I mean?
We don't know where that leads to.
Well, true.
Marky's sitting in front of his dad right now. You do? You know what?
We know that it leads to Mark's son. Like, we don't know what that leads to. Like you said earlier, you could tell a million stories, TJ. TJ. That's you. That's your voice.
I didn't think that was a good impression of me.
You can tell. I mean, Marky could go evil as he grows up, but I mean, there is an end to go that far.
So there is an end because there's always ebbs and flows. There's always something tragic and then something hopeful, and then that hopefulness leads to tragedy, and then that tragedy leads to hopefulness in the next thing. It's going to end. The last page is either going to be hopeful or tragic.
And I think that's a good question, and it was one that I was going to ask you guys, like whether or not you think it will end on a happy note. Will it end in a hopeful or tragic note? And I think that's a good question.
Those are better words than happy.
So once we got 2 more issues to kind of go through here, but then we all, 3 more issues to go through here, but we all wrote our what we think, or our own versions of the last issue, and I'm looking forward. The more we talk about it, I'm looking forward to reading mine.
Yeah. So rounding out issue 140,
Thrag.
Thrag dies. He disintegrates. Alan swoops in and saves Mark, and then Alan talks to Tara about forgiveness. All right, so 141 was kind of our
goodbye,
calm before the storm, but yeah, it was
and
our
after the
goodbye.
storm.
One big goodbye.
Mm-hmm. It kind of starts with Tara and Debbie, and Tara kind of expressing the fact that she doesn't really understand death, because anytime somebody around her has died, they've kind of gotten better, I guess except for Oliver. But anyways, she just says that whole thing about, they'll get the red parts put back in them. And then we've got Mark visiting Nolan,
who looks like he's going to die.
Yeah.
You got
and they don't hide it.
Shadow half over his body, like he's definitely on his deathbed.
And he even says it right away to him. Like, that's one of the first things he says. He just looks at him, and it's out there. He says that he's dying because of his damaged heart, and he tells Mark that it's time for you to lead the Viltrumites. So that was kind of another one of our moments.
Which is not something that Mark is interested in doing.
No, not at all. He was kind of against it. This whole issue almost is him saying why he doesn't want to do that, and Mark and Nolan convincing him, saying like, "Hey, this is
your responsibility. Not
just that, but you are the right person for this job because you changed me."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Change them. Yeah.
Change them. That's the last thing he says to him, is change them. Again, last issue Mark was talking about all the potential the Viltrumites have. This issue, Nolan's saying change them. Like, this is all about Mark assuming command of the Viltrumites and leading them.
That's the last thing that Nolan says?
Yeah.
All right, because then Mark goes on his little speech while his dad's like, "You changed me, change them." Mm-hmm. That's the last thing.
And then Mark goes
Nolan
on to
says.
say, like, well, Nolan has passed that, it's because you're a good guy. I am the way I am because of you. You were good all along and everything like that. But yeah, and Eve wasn't thrilled with the plan for, to go back to the Viltrumites, because they had previously planned on just
living normal lives.
Going away. There was also this moment with Mark and Tara where he sits next to her and talks about how he calls it the abyss, and how there's this abyss when your father dies, and it terrified him, and when he saw Tara, he saw that one day she'd have to face that when he died.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, you're happy and it's peaceful, so I don't want to wake you.
Eve busts in and says,
"There's 7 robots surrounding Earth."
Oh, come on. There's a wall.
There's a bajillion of them.
There's a wall of
no,
robots.
There's 7 of them.
Bajillion.
Mm-hmm. So that leads us into the Robot War, part 1 of 1.
Penultimate episode.
Penultimate?
Nope. It's not the penultimate.
I said penultimate.
The penultimate to the penultimate.
The penultimate.
I don't know about that.
It's the second to the last.
Yeah. So, Robot strikes first. Well, he's doing it because he wants to be the first to strike. He thinks that Mark is going to use the Viltrumites against him now that Mark has assumed control of them. But Mark sees through this. He flies straight to Earth. And meanwhile, Robot sends a message to all the Viltrumites aboard the ship that he has their kids, and if you want to see them again, you'll bring me Mark Grayson.
And also give me
control of all the Viltrumites.
No.
Right?
Control of the fleet.
The fleet, yeah.
Remember, because he told Alan.
Mm-hmm.
So the Viltrumites turned on Mark, but then they also turned on the Coalition.
Yep.
For an issue.
Yeah.
Half an issue.
And then Eve gets help from Ursula, so she has all the young Viltrumites on their side. Mark goes to the Immortal, recruits help from him
and his children.
Yeah, his twins, and then we got a couple pages of them, of the recruitment.
Tech Jacket, Britt, the crazy tiger guy that everyone loves.
Best Tiger.
Come on, Crazy Tiger.
Best Tiger.
Kaboomerang, Outrun, Pegasus, Monax, Yeti, yeah, all of them. So they recruit help from all of them. Sinclair, yep. We've got, Tara punching Britt Jr. into the wall.
And through a wall.
Mm-hmm.
So she has super strength.
Yeah, which I guess we should have known. It was just one of those things.
We can expect it, but we just didn't know it.
Yeah. Rereading the issue where she flies into the ceiling, the damage is worse than I thought. Like, it does look like she should have hurt herself.
Right.
But it was weird that it wasn't stated more clearly before this issue that she had super strength. And even upon rereading it, it still feels a little odd. So yeah, there's the war. There's the fight, the robot war. This awesome splash page with all the characters on it is awesome. We've got Mark telling the Viltrumites to fake it because they start attacking him. Then what else? Eve and
Monster Girl.
Tech Jacket. Girl. Yeah. Well, Monster Girl's after this part. But even Tech Jacket go to find the kids.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, every time I write Tech Jacket in my notes, I just write TJ. Yeah.
I am Tech Jacket.
Yeah. That's what TJ stands for. All this time. But yeah, there's all this stuff with Monster Girl. And I love the fact that she was the one that found Rex. Which suit
she
he was
knew
in.
who it was. What suit he was in, yeah.
By calling him out, saying that you don't even understand love. You don't know what love is. Mark flies him up into space. Robot gives that great speech about emptiness and peace and why nobody will be able to have it because you can't have one without the other. And
then he used himself as a metaphor. Like, he's hollow, he's empty, so that's the only reason why. That's why he's the best choice.
Mm-hmm. And calls Mark out on not being on being able to figure out a way to both keep the peace while killing him. Mm-hmm. And Mark finds a way.
Yeah.
By doing the Viltrumite punch.
Viltrumite punch!
Has Mark ever done that to somebody?
I don't know if Mark has.
I wonder if that was his first Viltrumite punch. That'd be interesting.
How did he kill... He he headbutt Conquest the first time.
Yeah, the second time he gripped. He has choked him. That's right. He choked him.
Oh, it was he got his stomach torn open.
Yep.
by Conquest. That's right.
Then
the big plan where he's a brain in a jar.
Yeah.
And then this is the King Immortal
Revelation tie-in that we've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends with Eve introducing Mark to Marky. Now we don't have to spend too much time on issue 143 because that was the last one we've talked about. But
quickly, it's
but yeah,
it's Marky.
it's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Mark is the emperor. There was the ceremony. Marky has his powers. He's flipping
Having
out.
trouble dealing with it. The death of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And he's freaking out dealing with his new powers, and he's kind of trashing the city.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Eve and Mark are having a discussion, and about kind of their about their not argument, but argument about them leaving, and him taking over the Vultramites, and him saying, "I'll have you at 49%. I'll give you 49% of my attention," and the Viltrumites 51%.
I think it was the opposit though, because she was trying to get him to give her more. So I think, how about 51-49? Like he was saying, I'll give you a little bit more.
And this is also when Robot suggests,
Right.
because he can't make anyone do anything, that the Vultramites need to leave Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That they're too much of a risk, and that gives us the final cliffhanger.
Which is Scott going up to Mark and saying that
Hey, I'm not gonna go with you.
him, Molly, and Marky are gonna stay. He actually says, "I'm sorry, I don't want to cause any trouble, but Marky, Molly, and me, we're not going with you." So
That's how it ends.
that
Dun dun.
brings
dun.
us to, so now that we've kind of encapsulated the end of all things
Mm-hmm.
As best we could, try to run through that as quickly as possible. What do you guys think about the final issue? Bill,
Do you want us to give predictions, or do you want us to tell our ending?
We can go right into our endings. TJ, you have yours is a little bit more in depth. Bill, yours is a little bit more fun, and mine is a little bit more.
We haven't heard each other's.
No.
though. So this is my description was mine's kind of more of a it's not ever going to happen in a million
Oh
years.
no, and mine's just kind of bullet points that you can kind of see happening.
Like for me, this isn't my prediction of what is going to happen. This is just me having fun writing the last issue.
Yeah.
So why don't we go in order of Ryan, me, and then you, TJ, since yours is the most structured and probably...
I don't know if it is. I don't know. I mean, it might be. I don't know how... I obviously, yours isn't at all.
No, at all. Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Like I said, mine's just going to be a couple little bullet point things of what I can kind of see going on. I think it'd be cool if Scott, Molly, and Marky actually do stay. I think Mark would agree that he's a better father for Marky because Mark has clearly not really shown, I don't know if it's interest or the capability of what he's got to do right now with all the Viltrumites and having Marky. I think that he'll set something up where the Pentagon is going to be looking after him. I think Debbie's going to stay on Earth. I think it'd be interesting if Amanda and Monax went back to the Flaxon dimension to help rebuild that and to live there. Because I don't know where else Amanda's going to go. I don't see her place in the story so much now that Robot's kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that a big part of it is going to be, and we've talked about this before, Mark starting the World Betterment Committee. I think that he puts Ursula in a command position. I don't know if she's kind of like his right-hand guy kind of position. But I do want to see them going to the other planets. I don't know if that's when we see a Battle Beast, when they go to reclaim that planet, because I think that was the reason we saw that planet being taken over by Thrag and the Viltrumites, because when Mark starts the World Betterment Committee, when they do go to liberate all these planets, that will be one of the planets they go to. I think that there's going to be a time jump And I think, I'm not sure how that first, everything I just said, might be Ottley's section, and then maybe there's a time jump and Corey Walker takes a stab at the final half, and it's Mark coming back maybe a few years later to Earth. I think that maybe in that situation, he'll, for old time's sake, they'll be a little bit older, but Eve will put them both in costume, because otherwise Mark has no reason to be in costume, and I think it'd be cool to see them in costume in the final issue. And he meets with Marky. Marky might be a few years older, and I think that's the moment in which Mark reaches out his hand, and maybe that's the last page of Mark saying, "Let me tell you where you come from," or about the Viltrumites, or where you really come from. Paying homage to all the previous times somebody has reached forward and said that. That's pretty much all I got, though.
Not a lot of action in that.
No.
You don't think there's going to be...
No, that's what I mean. I have a hard time. I'm not a writer, and it's hard. Like, I don't know what conflict there is.
Okay.
So
I have conflict. Let me go next.
No, you'll go next.
Okay, all right.
But, I mean, the three of us talked about how we were going to do this, and about how, like, we're not going to write much. Mm-hmm. I might have wrote a lot. I didn't think
That's
I wrote
what I'm
a
saying.
lot.
What I told you.
I didn't think I did, though.
No,
like,
I
thought my version of not a lot might have been a lot.
I think I failed. Like, no, I wanted to write more.
I think that's good, though.
I just couldn't figure. I got bullet points, but
I like the idea of the reaching out. I think that's cool. That's
it'd be cool if it
image.
was the last page.
Yeah.
To Marky. But again, that's kind of a shitty thing of Mark to be like, peace, and then come back years later. I mean, is Marky going to be like, who the fuck are you? Like, why would he care? But again, maybe he would want to know. Maybe he would want to know.
I would want to know who my father was if first of all, he's 5 or 6, and I have memories from 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
and he does have a father. He has Scott.
Yeah.
Someone who has been there.
Who'll probably raise him, good maybe.
Better?
I don't know. All right, so my turn?
All right, so what, yours is more fun?
I think so.
Okay, what do you got?
All right, so I agree. So the next issue is gonna begin with a close up of Mark's face, and it's gonna be kind of like grimacing, like, who do you think you're talking to? But then he's gonna be like, you know what, you're right, and he is going to kneel down to Marky, who is standing there as well, and he's gonna give him some sort of speech, and then he's gonna reach behind him and pull out a Science Dog comic and hand it to him. And say something like, hopefully this will do for you what it did for me. And then they're going to leave. So, and then it's going to be, Mark will say, Eve will say something like, where do we go now? And he'll say, let's just start rebuilding. Mm-hmm. and Corey Walker's art and Ryan Ottley's art is going to be one after the other after the other. It's not going to be
like
half
every
and half.
other page?
So Corey Walker or Ottley can be drawing what's happening on Battle Beast Planet.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mark and Marky.
So it has been established who is the next Battle Beast.
Okay.
And so they have found him, and he has a way of getting revenge against the Viltrumites for killing the original Battle Beast and essentially causing dishonor on their planet. Because they... Civil War, something, I don't know, something really cool that I don't have time to write right now. Uh-huh. Meanwhile, Alan and the Coalition are going to...
See, I didn't even talk about them.
So Alan and the Coalition, are you ashamed right now?
Yeah.
Shame.
I do not talk about Alan and the Coalition at all.
All right, so Alan and the Coalition, with the last conversation that they had, Alan is now worried that the Viltrumites are going to rise up against them at some point for whatever reason. So... Alan meets up on the Battle Beast planet, and he says, we need to join forces, and I need to know that you're a part of the Coalition and that you're not going to be part of this rebuilding thing that they're doing because they're still going to consider you part of the Viltrumite Empire. And they say, yes, we have an idea. There's an ancient weapon that the new Battle Beast has that only he can wield. So then Mark, it shows him doing whatever. Him and Eve are having a good time. Not really too sure what's going on with them. Mm-hmm. So then when they finally go to their planet and they land, Alan is there with the Coalition, and Mark says, I already know what this is about. You need to understand that this is a peace-building operation, all that other stuff. And Alan says, I understand where you're coming from, but I need to know that, or need to make sure that the coalition stays like a peaceful kind of operation, whatever. And there can't be Viltrumites. So the new Battle Beast comes, and I don't know what he has, but he has some sort of, because there was this talk of this Battle Beast being the only one that can operate this thing, this weapon that could stop the Viltrumites, and it has a lot to do with like his voice and how it's a song that he can sing.
No.
And he says, "This is my Oblivion song."
Oh my god.
And he turns on the machine, and it releases this giant, like, you know, from another dimension, and it turns out so Oblivion Song is a direct sequel to what the Battle Beast race created to stop the Viltrumites.
Okay. So Oblivion Song takes place on Earth after it's been infected by whatever the new
Battle
Beast released.
Sang, yeah, whatever he sang. Maybe it was I don't know. Maybe it could have been like a really cool guitar in the shape of an axe.
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, "Listen to my Oblivion song," and then
then
that's how it ended.
Okay. Well, so far, considering the fact that, TJ, you said Alan's not in yours, the fact that Alan is on the cover to the final issue, Bill might be the closest.
I think that he is going to form an alliance with other people, and they're going to fight against the Viltrumites.
Well, he has the whole coalition.
Right.
So,
and they have the Oblivion song on their side. Like, they're...
Yeah.
Okay, TJ.
My turn?
Let's shorten yours up a little bit, because...
You don't have to shorten it.
I'm not shortening it. Because...
oh, and on mine, I wanted... No. When Mark went back to Earth, I wanted him to fly past the high school. I just wanted that little something.
What about his like bag of garbage and
the bag of garbage? That's long gone. That ended in Paris during the Flaxon attack.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, TJ.
Okay.
What happens?
Here we go.
So
bear with me because mine's long.
It's all right.
It's not long, but it's longer.
This is the point. This is what we're doing.
So it starts out where Mark is furious and he's not willing to give up, all that, and they're arguing back and forth, and then Eve puts her hand on his shoulder and says, "Mark, can we talk?" They go off and they're in a different location, different setting, and they talk for a while, and she says, "Mark, I love you. We've talked about what your responsibilities are with the Viltrumite army. You need to lead them. I can handle 51% of your attention, but Tara, she deserves more than that. Let me stay on Earth with her and give her a normal life. Let me stay here. I can keep an eye on Marky. I can give her a semi-normal life, as normal as Earth is. Obviously, she's got powers, and there's many other people that have powers on Earth too. But Mark, as much as he loves her, as much as he loves Eve, as much as he loves Tara, having missed 5 years of her life, knows that it's better for Tara to stay on Earth rather than cart her around the universe for the rest of her life. So he decides to let Eve and Tara go. They hug. Eve says, "Nothing will ever come between us. I will always love you." They go off and they have one of their nights where they do all these amazing things. And then at night, Eve is sleeping. Mark wakes up and
Blue Spaghetti Monster
walks around. Time stops and the Spaghetti Monster shows up.
Which neither you or I talked about.
Nope.
Ryan, yeah.
This part I wrote a little dialogue because I think it was easier to write dialogue than to explain my idea.
Okay. Do you want us to play parts?
No.
Okay.
It's literally, there's only one part of dialogue. Well, technically two.
That's all right. Okay.
Spaghetti Monster shows up and the spaghetti starts to take form, and it forms legs and arms and a torso.
And it's Robert Kirkman.
And there is William. And he says, "Mark, we can never explain to you who we really are, what we really are, and where we came from. Just that we have come from a time very far from this one. A time in which the entirety of the universe has lost its meaning. The most ancient story we know in our time is that of the planet Earth and how it changed an empire of tyrants for the betterment of peace and understanding. How, shortly after, Earth and the human race became that of emotional cleansing for the universe, and how you, Mark Grayson, were at the forefront of that discovery. Earth and the human race have long since passed in our time, and with it has gone the understanding of being. We have fought to return to this time to rediscover that truth, to witness as it came to be. Mark, out of millions of possible outcomes, in millions of different dimensions, you are the only version of yourself who manages to stay in the light. You have lost allies, you have lost friends, and you've lost family. Yet you continue to fight, you continue to lead, you continue to care. We have followed you throughout your life, an illusion to you and others who have come to know us. We have learned many things. You call yourself invincible, but you are far from it. You are just another normal half-breed, more human than Bolshevite. But you've changed the universe with mere understanding, love, and compassion. We thank you for this lesson, and with that, maybe we will have a chance to carry on as you have lived. Mark says, but I don't understand. Why did you bring me to the past? Why did you want me to change the course of history? And William says, we created a scenario that we were sure you would accept. We were wrong. We wanted to see what you could have achieved had you been given the opportunity to live even longer than you had. Mark says, I still don't understand. What does that mean? What was different about that world than this one? I don't understand I don't know how I'm supposed to die. How would living in that world allow me to live longer? William says, because Mark, Tara, your daughter, she will be your undoing. That's how that scene ends. Mm-hmm. And we don't get the answer for it. I like leaving things open to interpretation.
So we'll talk more.
I'm not done.
No, I'm saying we're going to talk more about Spaghetti Monster later.
Okay. Epilogue. Mark returns to Earth.
Wait, that was the entire issue? Or that was just that part?
That was, the epilogue now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the end of that story. Obviously, I left a lot, I don't touch on Battle Beast or anything. I kind of left all that alone. But the epilogue is Mark returns to Earth with Ursel, who's dressed as his second in command, and other Viltrumites who go off to meet up with their friends and families that they have made during their time on Earth. Mark returns home, or to Debbie's house. Christmas lights are all over the house. He walks in. Tara, who appears to be a preteen, runs up to him and gives him a big hug. Eve runs up to him, gives him a big hug. Ursel returns with him, like I said, is in the house. His friends are there, other friends. He hugs Debbie. They're sitting, they have conversations, they're loving one another, they're sharing Christmas together. But you notice that Mark is sitting on one side of Tara, Eve is sitting on the other side of the Tara. When they meet, they don't kiss. You notice that Eve still is not wearing her wedding ring. They don't hold hands. And it's just kind of like a soft undertone. But they're happy. Mm-hmm. That's the end. That's my end. Mm-hmm. I like leaving... Now, a lot of people might not like this, but I like I wanted to give it kind of like a realistic end.
No, it's definitely very good. It's very indie movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally like that. Like, you can tell what kind of movies you like.
So was the Spaghetti Monster Will the entire time?
Or was he just taking that shape?
Was he just taking that shape because...
He was taking that shape. He was just...
leave it open to interpretation.
He was just an illusion. Like he said,
Will was an illusion?
Will was an illusion.
So Will the entire time that was the Spaghetti Monster?
William was an illusion.
I was going to bring up
William was the Spaghetti Monster the entire time.
I was going to bring up the fact a long time ago that we hadn't seen William in so long.
I wanted to bring a character back.
I thought you were going to say...
Can I go deeper into that? I thought about, who can I make William? At first, it was going to be immortal. Then I thought, how weird William isn't the fact that he's just nerdy. He just doesn't know how to be human.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
So who did you think he was going to say?
What, they morphed?
Yeah.
I said Robert Kirkman.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought that'd be really funny if he's like, when I said you do this all, I meant this comic is ending, and then it gets really meta.
I thought you were gonna turn it into Angstrom, because he's evolved past like his human form, and he's like this dimensional shifting thing, and then he sees more. Like the last that we know of Angstrom was that he, like,
died.
Well, he agreed with Mark though.
Yeah.
Right. Like he was like, he redeemed himself.
So, what are your thoughts on the first thing that I said regarding Eve staying behind?
I think that's very bold. I think that's interesting. I can completely see it because of. I mean, it sucks because I see both sides. I see the side in which Eve is, constantly frustrated with Mark for being headstrong and, jumping into things and everything like that. So I could see old Eve doing that. But since they've had that fight, and even the way that fight ends, it ends with her saying, I hate you so much because I love you. I hate how much I love you. And then her saying, we're going to take down Thrag together. We're together. They were together every single step of the way. And even this whole last couple issues with Mark, assuming leadership of the Viltrumites, she's there saying, again, she's saying, I don't really like this. I don't really like this. I disagree, especially with Robot in last issue. But every time that happens, she goes to Mark and they talk about it, and then they go, yeah, okay. Yeah. So I see where she could definitely stay, and I can see that happening.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm torn.
I don't think that it will.
I didn't have that opinion until I I had this project to do. You know what I mean? Until I started really thinking about it. Every time they discuss about their future, they don't talk about Tara. Yeah. Like, Tara's like a huge part of this.
One thing,
you really want to cart her around the universe? Like, that kind of sucks for her.
Again, me rereading, there is 2 times where they talk about Tara. Once when Nolan is saying, you'd have the entire Viltrumite, like, where would you go? Where would you go that would be safe? You'd have an army to protect Tara.
True.
That would be, what's safer than that? And then Mark uses the same argument with Eve, I'm pretty sure, later on. But I know for a fact Nolan does. So that's the argument, and I know it's weird, like, what kind of life would she have, but it's the fact that she would be protected and safe.
Right.
And Mark's all about keeping them safe now. So,
yeah.
I don't know. But I like the fact, I think that's cool, her staying behind. I think that's an interesting take.
To keep an eye on Marky, too.
Yeah, I like that. I said Mark would just let him stay. Bill, you said you'd give him a comic, and then TJ, you'd say Eve would stay. Do you think that it's possible, and this is going to come into one of our predictions, do you think it's possible that Marky leaves Earth, whether it be through force or what? Or do you
Mark
think Marky
is not going to force him to go with him?
Okay.
No way.
And you know what?
He understands he's got no right to that.
Yeah.
I think that this could possibly be like a 2-sided kind of thing, with Eve possibly staying on Earth, which I think could happen. I don't think that it will, but I think that if it does not take a long time to get back to Earth, no matter where they are.
That's what I mean. That's why in the epilogue, they're coming back. He's coming in my epilogue. He's coming back to celebrate Christmas. It doesn't mean that they can't visit and have a life.
In my second half, I had Mark coming back a couple years later to Earth. Like, I think we were going to see that. I don't know though. Before we get into our final predictions, because we're going to do like our 10 predictions and say whether or not we agree on them, and then next episode we're going to see whoever got the most right. We got a couple things from listeners. Jordan Gilbert wrote in, and this is a little bit of a long one, but Jordan wrote in with his final issue, his 144. So Jordan says, I want a resolution between Mark and his son. I need him to have a solid discussion with him about who he is in the Grayson Viltrum Empire gene pool. I want another narration from Mark somewhere in the last issue, maybe for a few pages, as he talks about his plans for the new empire and future with his family. I know it may seem unnecessary, but can we all agree that Ryan Ottley has gotten better over the years with his art, right? I want flashbacks drawn of every crazy pivotal moment in Mark's life, and it literally can be 2 pages, a few panels each. Nolan hitting Mark in the first fight, his first fight with the Viltrumites, him pummeling Angstrom Levy, Conquest, the Viltrumite War, Dinosaurs, him losing his powers, etc. I want a self-reflection from Mark on all the above, him going over everything in his head that brought him to this point in his life. I want a final checkup on Debbie, Alan, the Coalition, the heroes of Earth, everyone, and even a slight peek into the future. Years after everything that transpired in the last few issues, an epilogue of some sort. I need to see Mark sprout a mustache. Maybe the last panel will be a War for the Planet of the Apes kind of thing, where him and his family are settled on a far but not too distant planet, looking over his empire as they flourish on their new home, headquarters for their planet rehab facility. That is my wish on a serious note for this comic. I want shown in this last issue. And on a funny note, Mark just saying forget leaving and take over the Earth and become a tyrant with his new empire. LOL. Sorry for the long letter. Hope you guys read everything. This really sucks that we have one issue left. Why? Love, Jordan. Thanks, Jordan. I really hope there's some kind of cool flashback montage. I would love to see that. Like, I know obviously TJ, that would check off one of your early boxes of getting to see like a Rex or an Angstrom thing. Or
I really want this last issue to have an emotional moment like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what Jordan's saying, like where he kind of thinks back on all the things he did. Right. Like that's what I kind of got with him flying past the high school. Like that was so much.
I wrote in my dialogue, when the spaghetti monster was saying, "You've lost allies," mm-hmm. I'm picturing Battle Beast. When you've lost friends, I'm picturing Rex explode. You've lost family. Him mm-hmm. hugging his dad. Yeah. Like emotional things like that, where you're reminiscing, but you're
maybe
you know
maybe the spaghetti monster would show visions.
Yeah, maybe. You know.
We got one from Connor on Twitter. He says,
"What up, Connor?
Whoa!
Oh shit!"
He says, "I hope we get a lot of throwbacks to older moments. Invincible has always been amazing for that. Moments like the Eve and Rex cheating pages and the spreads of Nolan and Mark fighting Viltrumites. The history and past of this book are always worth celebrating and mention. I've got a feeling I'm going to enjoy this finale for what it'll end up being. I'm hoping we get some sort of mention of the Battle Beast prophecy. I'm looking forward to see what Kirkman brings, whether it's a novel or something else. I'm still sad to see this series go." Again, similar to what Jordan said, throwbacks. We want those moments, you know, and those are things.
The first page of the first issue is Mark flying with a guy in his arms that has a bomb strapped to his chest. Mm-hmm. What if the first page of this one is Mark flying with Marky in his arms and he's fleeing Earth because he doesn't want to give him up?
And he's saying, you know, you really ruined
my day, my afternoon.
Meryl Medina said, "I was just thinking, with Corey Walker drawing half the issue, is it possible he's drawing an alternate universe ending? By the way, great, wonderful podcast." Thanks, Meryl. I think, oh man, that reminds me of the alternate universe that we're never going to see. I really hoped we were going to see that again. The one with the...
it was a lot of fun. Yeah. The monster girl baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I don't know if he'd draw an alternate universe, because I don't know what that would mean. If it meant something, if it had meaning, then yeah, absolutely. Him drawing. That's kind of what he did with the Flex on Dimension. Corey mm-hmm. Walker drew another universe. And then we actually had an email from Jim Frazier from last episode. He emailed us right after that episode. And he says, "Thinking the Coalition will use the Scourge virus against Mark. That would explain why Future Immortal remembers Mark as being sick. Great podcast." Thanks, Jim. We didn't talk about the Scourge virus at all either. That could be on one of our predictions. So what we did is we came up with 10 predictions, and we're going to go around the table and say whether, like, yes or no, will it happen. And then next week, at the end of that issue, we'll look back at our...
You're going to edit this, right? And actually check off what we say?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And I'll mark right now.
It'll be on record, so he could always go back.
It'll be on.
No, I mean, I've got it right here in front of me. Yeah. And we're going to say yes or no to some of these.
Okay.
First question of our 10 predictions. TJ, do you think Marky will leave Earth as a child?
No.
So never when he's a child will he leave Earth?
No.
Okay.
Not that we'll see.
Yeah, I think I agree as well. Bill?
This is as in, like, the next issue that we're going to see, like, the next panel, right? Is he going to leave with Mark? I don't think so. He's going to stay on Earth.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm asking. Is Mark going to is Marky going to stay as a result of what happened at the end of previous issue?
So far, it's unanimous.
Yeah,
so
we all
Marky
agree
is
no.
staying. Okay.
Will we see the spaghetti monster, Bill?
No, I don't think we will. I want to. I really want to, but I do not think we will get any kind of...
Yeah, this is what we think will happen, not what we want. TJ?
I'm really 50-50, but I will be upset if I don't. So I'm going to put yes in hope.
All right.
Ryan, what do you think?
I'm saying no.
You also do not think
I do not think. So, do you want to get into it a little bit? I don't know if it makes sense. TJ and I talked a little bit about it off air, and I don't think anything can be done for the spaghetti monster to make sense. Trust me, I want it to be. I think that'd be cool, a cool connection that he did. But the more I think about it, the more rereading that issue, like, it's just all kind of gibberish intentionally. And it's just saying, like, you've doomed us all, like...
But who is all? That's what I think needs to get explained.
No, I don't
all
think
of
that
who?
I mean, why was I your last hope? Mark even screams that. Like, you don't make any sense. This doesn't, like, what do you mean?
The actual line is, you've doomed this world.
Yes, you've doomed this world. But they do say, you were our last hope, right?
I think it does say
And Mark
that,
says, last hope for what? You're not making any sense.
Yeah.
Like,
you haven't told me anything.
you haven't told me anything. Like, so Mark's expressing our frustrations, but the spaghetti monster says you wouldn't be able to comprehend. So it's like, and even Mark says, well, that's real convenient. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
why continue that frustration past the ending of Invincible? Why not?
They could just leave. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I almost feel like they could just leave it, and it's like, we'll never know. We can't understand, just like Mark can't understand.
Like we've been talking about. I like things that are left open to interpretation, but not something like that. You got to give us a little bit more. You can still leave it open to interpretation, but we need more than that.
Yeah.
I think it would be
more.
the biggest surprise if the spaghetti monster makes an appearance.
Same. I think
it will be the biggest surprise. I will be like, wow.
Yeah, I know. Me too. So we'll see. I think it'd be cool, but I'm not expecting it.
Me neither.
Will we see Mark in the classic costume at all?
In current time.
In current time,
Not
yes.
in the
No
flashback.
flashbacks.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Not flashbacks.
Yeah, not including flashbacks.
Do statues count?
No.
No. That's why I put in my little story. I thought that Eve does it just for fun when they're older, for old time's sake. But I don't. It's weird. Like, why would he?
Yes.
You think so?
You can change it, TJ, but I'm putting yes.
I'm gonna put yes.
All right. So
It's
so
the final
far,
issue. Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
All right. So Bill said no to that.
Wow.
TJ and I say yes.
I'm no all the way through so far.
So, how about this one, TJ? Will we actually see the new Battle Beast? What he looks like, or he or she?
Yes.
We will actually see them.
Yes.
Bill?
I am also a yes on that.
Yeah, I'm a yes.
And I can't tell if that's subjective, like if that's just me really wanting it.
Yeah.
Really badly.
But I think it will. Yeah, I think it will.
I don't think we need to.
I agree. I also agree. That's one of those things where I kind of feel like they don't really need to.
Can I give one other prediction? We're gonna see the final page. We're gonna turn the page. It's gonna be an extra long Invincible section. We're gonna turn that page, and there will be an ad for whatever is coming next in the Invincible universe. If it's in other media, if it's a book, like a novel, I think it's gonna be the first novel. There's gonna be an ad.
Do you think it'll be an ad for what Ottley's working on next?
No.
Why? You don't think that whatever that is coming out?
Unless
I think
it's for Skybound or something.
I think he just started whatever he's working
I
on, so
agree.
there's nothing
it
out
would
there.
have to be Skybound or Image.
I don't think that there's anything out there for them to
put out
show,
Yeah.
because I think he just started drawing it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too, because he did just finish Invincible not long ago.
Right.
Yeah, I can see. I don't know if there's going to be an ad, but I agree with you, TJ. I think that it will be in writing, in a letter from Kirkman. I think he'll say there's a novel coming.
We're going to know by
there will be something. Maybe that's at least
we will know what's going to happen next in that forum by the time we are done finishing.
I hope
reading.
That's not one of our official 10 prediction things, but yeah, I think that'd be cool. Bill, do you think they're going to get anything like that?
What?
Do you think we're gonna get anything like that? Any
like
kind of
an ad for
either an
like
ad or Kirkman saying? Like,
yes.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an action figure. Something.
I think it'll be the novel. I think if
so?
anything it'll be
Oh, that'd be so cool. I am gonna say I do not expect to see Wolfman or any of the Wolf Corps at all.
I agree. I think Earth is almost done, to be honest.
TJ, do you think we see any Wolfman?
Again, I want to be hopeful because I really want to see them.
TJ, all of yours say yes right now.
No, his first one was a no. But do you think we
I'm
see
going
him?
to say no.
Okay. Next one.
This is an easy one.
TJ, will we see a jump in time of more than 3 years?
Yes.
Bill?
Absolutely.
100% yes.
Yeah. All right. I think so too. I think we're going to see a jump in time. I don't know why.
Are you typing yeah?
For some reason, I was writing yeah, not yes. Okay. Next prediction. Do you guys think Tara will develop any other powers? Remember, we used to think this all the time.
She was gonna be
that
like
she was
Super
going to
Eve.
have another ability or something
We
like
thought
that.
it was gonna come in like she was gonna save the day, like she's gonna
Yep.
kill Thrag and stuff. No, I don't.
Neither do I.
Really?
I want to.
Even though you kind of left it up to interpretation in your writing, like, you don't think that they're going to go further?
I don't actually think that Tara's going to be
The
Mark's
end of Mark's?
undoing.
That was a major
for
thing
sure.
we thought
Yeah.
she was going to be the end of all things. Like, she was going to be all powerful.
Yeah.
That was several theories.
Yeah.
But we don't see any more powers from Tara.
No.
No.
No,
I
definitely
agree.
not.
Nope. No new powers for Tara.
We'll write it. We'll write it. The three of us will
I
write
mean,
it.
if we just wrote enough ideas, like 50,000 ideas, and just yes or no, we'd write the story.
There you go. TJ, will either Alan or Eve die, not counting old age?
Or both.
Either one. Yes, one
So
or
either
both.
or both. Okay.
Neither will die.
You think neither will die?
So the answer is no.
Bill?
I think one of them will die. Yes.
At least one of them will die?
And I think it will be Alan. Eve won't die.
Old age does not count, correct?
Correct.
Excluding old age. That's what that
Yeah,
means.
yeah.
Okay.
I say no. I don't think... I think
we're
could
done
see-
You
with
don't
death.
think Alan's gonna die?
I think we're
You're
done.
out of your mind.
I don't expect to see a lot of conflict in the last issue.
I don't either, but I think Alan is going to die.
I could see Alan dying, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm gonna say no.
He's gonna hold the scourge virus up like this, and say, "I'm gonna use this on you, Mark, my old friend." And then Battle Beast is
And
gonna
then in
sing
change
the
of
Oblivion
heart, he's
song.
going to just drink it.
Maybe, yeah. Which does nothing to him because it's only the Ultramites.
Okay. Our ninth one. Will it be a tragic ending? I'm definitely saying no. Bill, this is your moment.
Go to TJ first. Let me.
TJ?
I'm not going to answer until you answer. I've answered most of these first. I have my answer,
Yeah.
and it's not going to change.
Okay.
Tragic meaning it is... Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't think we really need to specify.
I don't think it's
It
gonna
is
be.
not
I don't think it's
hopeful.
gonna be end of the world. Everyone dies tragic, but I think it's going to be. I don't think it's gonna be hopeful. Like
Mark lives happily ever after with his
yes,
family.
I think that he is going to.
Lose someone, it's going to be sad, it's going to be remorseful.
You know, it could be remorseful. I think that it could be sad in that he has regret for something that happens or a decision that he made.
Do you think that my ending is tragic? They didn't end up together, but they were happy.
Yes.
You think that's
I
tragic?
think yours is a tragic ending.
I think yours is a little tragic, yeah.
Really?
100%.
I didn't think so. I thought
It is tragic.
they're happy.
No, because you don't know.
They're
First
still
of all,
a
you
happy
left that ending-
family.
Why are we even fucking debating what happened in your imaginary comic book right now? Like, it's making me so mad.
Because if something like that ends like that, you can. I mean, that's debatable whether it's tragic or not, and we could say, "Oh well, I was right and you were right."
Literally, TJ, literally, several times you said it's up to interpretation.
Yeah.
So you can't argue the fact that we think it's kind of tragic.
So so if that's the case, if it does end something like that,
yeah.
Can we both be right? I feel like we are.
I think we'll be honest in saying when we finish the final issue whether or not it ended tragically or not. I think we're not going to
guess.
argue.
I think
it.
you
I don't
understand
think
what
mine is
tragic means,
tragic,
right?
though.
Like tragic, something that ends as tragic could be like the universe is so happy and like Mark and the Viltrumites did something great, and then he walks down a hallway into his room and he just sits down and he's sad. And he's just thinking about all
That
that
would
he's
end
lost.
on a downer.
That's tragic. That is a tragic ending. Even though the world around Mark is happy, Mark is not happy. It's kind of tragic. It's sad. Mark is not.
What if it's flipped? What if it shows him sitting there and he's sad, but then he opens up a door and he sees like all the good that he's done in the world?
It doesn't matter. He's still sad.
In that case, I would almost say it's hopeful. Like it
Right.
ends on a positive
That's
note.
what I mean. Like
we're talking about the last
Very
page. Like,
last thing.
If it ends on a downer or an upper, like is it?
Okay, we're talking about the last page then.
Pretty
We're talking
much.
about the last.
How it ends.
The
Yeah.
last
How it physically
point.
ends.
Yes.
The last point that
Yes, the
Kirkman
period.
puts
You
across.
close the book and
Okay.
Will it be tragic? Yes or no?
You're answering first. I already
I'm
have my
saying
answer.
yes.
I'm
I'm
saying
saying-
no.
Okay.
Saying absolutely not. I think Kirkman wants to end this on a high note.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then the last one I have is, will the scourge virus make an appearance, whether physically or in conversation?
Yes, in conversation.
Really? Okay. Bill? I'm going to say no.
There's money on the line, isn't there?
If we want, we can put $5.
So $15.
Yeah.
Well, $10 you'd win. I'm going to say
That's like 7 Slim Jims you can buy.
I don't even know how many taquitos.
I
literally
think
don't
it
know
means
how
all
many.
the taquitos.
All the taquitos?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Then
I
I'm
saw
gonna
a sign.
Will the scourge virus make an appearance? Oh, I'm gonna say shit.
In text or physical. It doesn't.
I think this is gonna be my undoing. Quote me. This I'm gonna lose by 1 fucking point, and it's gonna be this fucking one right here. No.
Okay.
That's the easy way out.
It is the easy way out.
It's 50-50. How do you know?
Like you
There's
made
no
that
easy way out.
like you're some kind of hero choosing no. Out of
Okay.
here.
Because
You said yes. That means
think
that you
it's-
think it's gonna be yes.
No, I'm taking a chance.
I think it's very likely that we come to a tie. So I wanted to put a tiebreaker in here. If there's a tie, the tiebreaker is whoever gets closest
Without going over?
without going over.
Okay.
Without going over?
No, I don't know. I guess we could just do whoever's closest, right? Let's
No.
just do whoever's closest. Because even if you're one word
Yeah.
over, no, we're gonna
The
do.
same price is right, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whoever's-
but what if I'm 1 word away and you're 1 word away, but you're over and I'm under?
then
then
you
we
then
tie.
you tie.
But then we need a tiebreaker.
Nope. Tiebreaker. Number of words on the final page.
I'm gonna let TJ go first on this one.
Well, I've had time to think about it, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Because TJ, you guys haven't really heard these. I came up with these. The number of words on the final page, I'm gonna go with 8.
Interesting. I wouldn't have said 8.
This is the last page. Bill, are you
I'm
counting?
gonna say 5.
Are you counting on your hand the end?
No. The end doesn't count. Can we
If it is a word on the page, it counts.
on the last
Oh,
page?
they can have the whole like freaking credits, everything there.
Well, okay,
You know
well
what I
then
mean?
those
Like,
don't count. But I think the
the
end
last
would
bit
count.
of dialogue or monologue?
Yeah, like everything
Alright.
that's on the last page.
Everything that's on the last page.
If it's not credits, yeah, but if it's part of the story, if Robert wants to end it with the end, then I think it counts.
Four.
TJ saying 4.
I'm gonna say 12.
You said 8.
Yeah.
No, I said 8.
I said 5. I'm gonna say 12.
He's going 12 now. He's changing it because he wants to go higher than you. Anything over fucking
Yeah.
8, he wins.
So we think there's not going to be many words on the last page, which I think is appropriate.
I
don't
originally
think...
didn't, but now I'm thinking that it could be because I thought it.
Can
what
you
I
imagine
think?
the last page just being a lot of words?
What words?
I was almost gonna say 0.
Yeah,
to be
that's what I
honest,
think.
like,
I think
you
it's
know
going to
what
be
I mean?
low.
That's
think-
why I wanted the lowest number.
The last page, is it going to be drawn by Ryan Ottley or Corey Walker? That should have been a fucking thing.
Ooh.
Let's make it a thing, because
Well, we can still talk about
we're
it.
divided on it. Let's make it a thing. We're divided.
Are we?
Yes,
It's Corey.
it's Corey.
It's Ottley.
Right.
Really?
Make it a question.
All right, fine, I'll add it.
So you think Corey Walker because he created it,
I
co-created?
think Corey Walker, because he started it, he will finish it.
Okay. And
Right.
Ryan, is that what you think as well?
Yeah, I'm saying Corey's going to draw the last page.
I'll go further. I hope it's Corey. I love Ottley. We all know how much the three of us love Ryan Ottley.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something, I don't know.
So do you think that it would be more of a slap in the face if Ottley did it or if Corey did it?
Not at all.
I don't think there's a slap in the face at all. No.
Not at all.
I'm trying to put myself in their shoes though because I'm having a really difficult time
Seeing
thinking
who
about
deserves it?
Yeah, who deserves it? Because
Is it something that like you deserve? Like I don't know if it's.
I think it's just going to be
I
something
mean,
that...
I would feel like okay. So if I were Corey Walker, I would feel like I deserve it because I started it.
I don't think that they
But
think
if
that
you're-
way.
But if I'm Ottley, I feel like I should do it because I've had more invested.
I don't know if it's. I think it's just going to be Kirkman wrote it, and this is how it's written. Like,
do you think they flipped the coin?
I don't know.
No.
To decide.
I think Kirkman was like, Ryan, I want you to draw the first half, and Corey, I want you to draw the second half. And I think Ryan was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then Corey was like, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
all right.
That's probably.
So you said Ryan draws the second half?
No, Corey will draw the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, me and
Ryan
TJ
will
agree
draw
on
the
that.
first.
All right. One thing that I wanted to ask you guys: The Death of Everyone, reboot. Those are titles of arcs that Kirkman has done in the past that kind of have like a tongue-in-cheek meaning, like The Death of Everyone. I mean, yeah, Mark said you're killing everyone, and dinosaurs did kill a lot of people when he flooded Earth. But, you know, it was advertised as like all the main characters are dying, and they didn't. Reboot wasn't really a reboot, and so on. When we finish The End of All Things, if there isn't a spaghetti monster cataclysmic type moment, do you think that title is appropriate? We've read 11 out of 12 parts. Do you think The End of All Things is appropriate?
No. I think that referring to the comic ending, yes, but I don't think that
I'm gonna agree with what you're about to say.
Yeah, I don't think that it captures what happened throughout.
Unless it does.
Last arc.
Unless that moment does happen, unless something
happens, yeah.
cataclysmic does
In my
happen.
opinion, it can't. Like, then the last issue should be called The End of Everything, because up until now, I'm not crying. I'm trying to hold back a cough. Up until now, it hasn't really seemed like the end of all things. Like, it has.
The End of All Things sounds tragic, and there's been tragedy.
No one died.
But it's not like
that was it.
Huh?
That was it. No one died.
I mean, there was also the funeral of Oliver.
Okay. That didn't even happen in The End of All Things.
Yes, it did.
The funeral happened,
did.
but him dying didn't.
Right.
What was I about to say?
Listening back, sorry to interrupt you,
No, go. I
but
lost my train of
because
thought.
you sent us the link of episode 12 of ours, and I listened to the first bit, and I remember
we were super bummed out.
We were bummed, but then I remember listening to it, and we were like really excited about how it's going to be. We thought it was going to be the craziest fucking 12 issues, and we're like, that's so much. Like, and then looking back,
like TJ gave the dollhouse theory. He said that they were like, oh, we're done. Let's throw it all out there. And I'm pretty sure. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Didn't Kirkman say that the end of Invincible will have a definitive ending? Like, it will end.
yes,
Yeah.
To me, that sounds like something is going to happen that ends everything.
I think that
him saying that
Means
that he was trying to get us to think a certain way when he said that. I think that there will be a definitive ending, but him saying there will be a definitive ending isn't going to mean what we think it's going to mean. This is not going to end the way you think.
Now that just makes me think it's
Luke
just
Skywalker.
going to be we're going to see the future. Like we've said, 5 years from now, this is what's going on. So yeah, it has a definitive ending.
Right.
Yeah. So, and The End of All Things is just a double meaning for the fact that the series is ending.
But it's not a double meaning. It's just the meaning.
Oh, I guess you're right.
I want it to be a double meaning. And if it is, awesome. If it's not, I'm not like, it doesn't ruin it for me. It's not a bad, terrible name.
When it got announced, I thought everyone was gonna die.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't. No way.
I thought
Oh,
Eve.
no, I did.
I thought fucking Marky.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there would be
everyone.
far more death.
Tara, remember when we were like, Tara's gonna die? Like we're
No, I never said she was going to die.
I don't think I ever said that
Matt, our friend
People
Matt
were
was convinced.
We're scared that she was gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we definitely thought there was going to be more death.
Yeah, but the more that I read it, even the robot war, like nothing.
And it's funny because listening to our talk beforehand and then reading everything except the final issue back to back, like this is a solid volume. This is a solid 11 issues, that feels good. It's a great story. It wraps up things. It flows well. It's not what we thought it was going to be for the most part.
And it never is.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Mike Barrett and Rob Hagemeister did a contest
On Invince Fans, right?
Yeah, or they're on Facebook. I think they did it on Invince Fans, and
It was a death pool thing.
Yeah.
Pick your top 10, who you think's going to die.
who died in the End of All Things?
Whoever chose
Nolan.
Whoever chose
Nolan, yeah,
Whoever
but,
chose Nolan, Robot, Anissa, and Thrag as your top 4.
Robot
I
did
feel
not
like
die.
everybody,
That's
but
it.
it's gonna go by.
Who put in what order?
Yeah.
So, well, I guess that wouldn't
I bet
matter.
there's gonna be a tie on that.
Probably. Well,
feel
we'll
like
find
there's
out
gonna be
next
a tie.
issue if there's more death. But
Anessa might be like the one
wild
that
card?
yeah
but
that
yeah,
separates people.
I mean, those are 4 huge deaths. Those are all main characters.
yeah.
Like, so it feels weird to think that that's a negative in any sense, but it's just one of those things. Like, we assumed Thrag would die. We assumed Nolan would die. We didn't really think Anissa would die. We didn't. That one was kind of a shock.
Here's a question: You just said that Robot died. Did he die?
Oh,
No.
you're right. No, I guess he didn't. I would count that as no. So yeah, you're right. 3.
But I don't even count Anissa because Anissa's like, yeah, she's a main character, but she was never like,
She was a huge character.
yeah, but I never held her like in my heart. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah. With me?
With you.
So that's it. I think that's pretty much all our final thoughts before reading it. This is it.
I don't want to be wrong about something then, and then
We're wrong about a lot, and I'm kind of
Probably
excited
The
about
one
that.
thing, the one question on there that I might be wrong about is the scourge virus, but I'm gonna keep it.
see that's.
But I'm
that's
taking
the,
risks, man.
It's the fucking
Yeah.
point. It's the game changer. That one.
Yeah.
That's the fucking question.
But you
right
being
there.
like, you know, let's like sit around for 10 minutes while I, no, I think we're.
But why? That
Yeah.
I think it's more of a risk to say no because I think that it is going to be at least talked about.
Then change it.
No, I
You
don't.
change
because I
yours,
don't
and I'll
think
change
it's
mine.
going to- No, fuck that because I know I'm gonna lose.
No, I'll be honest. I really wouldn't change it. If you told me I could go back right now, I still
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. I'm happy with my decisions. But that's
I'm
the
not.
one.
I'm not.
That's
My
the one
gut
that I
is
think
telling me
that I definitely took a chance on.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be fun.
Because
It'll be
when
fun
you
to see.
said text, it could be text or
Yeah.
we
talk
see
about.
it.
So we could talk.
I think
Somebody could
I
say.
think it'll be talk. What I think it might be is even.
Maybe Jordan's right, and we'll get a flashback of when he was sick.
And that would count. What if they were like, hey, remember the scourge virus?
That would count.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
That would count.
That would fucking count. Fuck.
I don't know. We'll
Not
see.
changing.
I think it's going to be
Not changing
in narration.
Yeah. So that does it. Next time you hear our voices, we will have read issue 144. TJ, are you planning on taking a half day or day off or something like that? Because I know we want to. I am not reading it digitally. I am reading it physical.
I am
have
going to read it digitally,
Bill,
probably on the iPad.
I will drop off an issue at your house because I'm going to go past your place.
But he's going to read it before comic shop.
you
I'm
wait-
gonna
if you wait
no,
2 hours,
fuck
Bill.
that. No.
Wait 2 hours and you can read it physically.
No, sir.
Would you want to go to the comic shop and get it, TJ?
If I can get off.
So
work.
do you want all of us to read it together?
That wasn't the intent, but if we're all off,
Should we do it maybe with our should our clothes be
oh well,
Like-
we'll see.
on?
We'll see.
Or okay.
But that's it. That's it. The end.
Is nigh.
Of everything,
Do you think you're gonna be happy?
of all things. No. I don't think anyone's gonna be happy.
I'll be honest with you. When it comes to long running things, it's very rare that I'm ever happy with the ending of like anything. Because especially with us doing this podcast, I think for the three of us,
we're too
So
close.
fucking
we're
critical.
so
to it.
invested that we're very judgmental when it comes to this comic. We hold it in extremely high regards, and with that comes high expectation.
Yeah.
So I
if you-
feel like when I read shit, I just cut myself. Look at that. I feel like when I read it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's okay. But I think years down the road, or not even years, but like a couple weeks
will
maybe
pass.
down the road, I'll read it again. I'll be like, this was really good. I'm really happy with how this ended.
What is one of your favorite things, TV show, movie series, comic book, that has ended that you liked? Like the way that it ended.
Buffy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That everyone was a Slayer?
Wow. Ruined it.
Have you ever seen Buffy?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it with
Oh,
you.
okay.
You watched it before him.
Yeah. I think
And Ryan loved Buffy.
I think I'm gonna be happy at the end.
You know
I think
what?
you know what? I think if you're still listening to this podcast, thank you first of all. But if you're still listening, I strongly encourage, especially after us talking shit about it, just kind of ranting about this final issue. We're not writers. We tried goofing off and writing some things and giving our predictions and stuff like that. We're going to be very wrong, I think, on most things.
Yeah. Like we said.
I think I really strongly suggest, after you listen to us, at least a week before, or minimum a week before the final issue, read the 11 issues. Get a feel for the writing again. Get your head out of all the crazy things that can happen and ground yourself with this comic is actually like. Read how it flows and then read
I mean, I can attest, I didn't do that. Like, I didn't read it at all. I'm going to. Mm-hmm. But even just, like, doing the recap, like this recap.
That's why I wanted to do the recap.
It was surprising how well it flowed.
Yeah.
In most parts of it. There were some hiccups here and there. There's some hiccups here and there. Like, the Robot War, I still think was... But everything up until that point, like, flowed really well. Mm-hmm. Was fucking crazy action-packed. Like, more than I remember it being. Yeah, more than I remember it being. Yep. So I think it's a brilliant idea.
We need to. Yeah, I think everybody should. So that does it. Any final thoughts, guys?
No, I think we talked about it, and I'm really sad.
Yeah, it is really, really sad.
It feels like we're standing around, like, at a funeral.
Yeah.
And we're like not wanting to leave because you don't want it to
be
really
over.
Be the end, but it is the end.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that one thing we get out of it is that hopefulness that we talked about, whether not just for all the characters that we've read about, but I want to be satisfied, and I want there to be some glimmer of light that something will be happening in other medium, which we've gotten in the past, but we'll see. So that does it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
I'm not ready.
With the end of all things.
We have to go.
Part 12 of 12.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Fucking pot pie. Your bullshit pot pie.
You took it out a half hour ago, bitch.